Is everything you know wrong about this guy, Osama bin Laden? Is he dead or alive? One of my favorite authors, David Ray Griffin, professor of philosophy of religion and theology emeritus at the Claremont School of Theology and Claremont Graduate University, Claremont, California, the co-author or author of over 35 books, including The New Pearl Harbor, Debunking the 9/11, Debunking the 9/11 Commission Report, Omissions and Distortions, 9/11 Contradictions, has a new book out. It is titled Osama bin Laden, Dead or Alive. David Ray Griffin, Dr. Griffin, welcome back to our program.
Good to be back with you, Thom.
Great to have you here. So, is Osama bin Laden... by the way, I should say, I've read most all of your book, and I think it's brilliant. But for our listeners, is Osama bin Laden dead or alive?
You know, I can't say 100%, but I can say there's no good evidence that he is still alive, and there's a lot of good evidence that he's dead. So I would say most likely dead.
Yes, and specifically, it looks like he died in December of 2001, from everything I read in your book and all the various news reports, and the fact that it was officially announced in the Pakistani press, as I recall, that there was a funeral held for him.
Yes, you have three kinds of evidence that come together. One is a funeral announcement saying that on December 26th, saying that he had died and been buried in mid-December. And about that same time, the CIA completely lost touch with him. Up till then, they had been regularly intercepting his communications, radio communications with his people, and they suddenly came to an end and never to be reestablished.
Right.
And then a third thing is, that in Muslim countries it's custom to bury people very, very quickly.
Right.
So that those three things suggest that that's what did happen.
Right. And it was December 13th, 2000?
Yeah, that date may be a little too precise.
Was it
but
2001, am I recalling right, or 2000? What was it?
Yeah, no, it's 2001.
Yeah.
But it did seem to be December 13th or 14th that the communications came to an end.
So was that was right after Tora Bora, wasn't
it? That's right. And the third element of evidence is that there was a lot of evidence that he was a kidney patient, that he was in the final stages, in fact, of
kidney failure.
Yeah. And so when you put that together with these reports, the evidence is pretty strong.
Yeah, thus all the jokes about, why can't if George Bush is such a great cowboy, aside from the fact that he's afraid of horses, which is why he never had any horses at his ranch, how can he fail to find a 6'6" guy riding around on a camel with a dialysis machine? Well, apparently because the guy is dead. This raises two questions, David. We're talking with David Ray Griffin, his new book, Osama bin Laden, Dead or Alive. It's a compelling read. And a short one. This is an afternoon or a weekend's read. You'll find it fascinating. The two questions immediately that are raised by this are, one, what about all these bin Laden tapes that we keep getting, and particularly the ones that the Bush administration kept trotting out during the 2004 election? And two, to whose benefit, or who accrues the greatest benefit? There's a long list, actually, of people who accrue benefit, but who accrues the greatest benefit from maintaining the mythology that Osama bin Laden is still alive, that there's still a Lex Luthor out there, so we have a Superman here? And in particular, why would and I think the answer to that with regard to the Bush administration is pretty easy to figure out, but I want to hear your riff on it anyway. But why would the Obama administration continue this?
Yes, well, you got three questions there, so let me take them in order.
Go for it.
First, when I said there's no good evidence that he's still alive, many people might have said, well, just a minute. Almost every month we get a new bin Laden audio tape, videotape, and the CIA authenticates it and says, yes, this is genuine.
Yep.
So that's the longest chapter in my book, and deals with the fact that, first of all, the technology for making fake audio tapes and even fake videotapes has been with us for at least a decade now. So there's no technical problem. Secondly, that as I show some of the...
You're saying this is sort of the video equivalent of Photoshop.
That's right. So there's digital morphing. You can even coordinate, synchronize the lip movements with the sound.
Right.
And so it
you
looks
could have
pretty
a completely different person be doing the visual, and then in post-production have that person's face become Osama bin Laden's. I mean, this is done all the time in the movies.
That's right. That's right. And you can take Osama's genuine voice and manipulate the words, so you can make his voice say anything you want it to say. Right. And so when they say, "Oh yeah, that's bin Laden's voice," that doesn't mean anything anymore. And so that's one point. The second point is that some of the tapes are very obviously, I would say, and other experts say, I mean, real bin Laden experts say, they're faked, and for various reasons. So I take the one tape that was actually made before bin Laden probably died, was the so-called Osama bin Laden confession tape. Because here the problem was not whether he was alive or dead, but did he do 9/11? And so here comes suddenly this video they claim they found in a house in Jalalabad, where he's talking to a visiting sheikh, and he brags about 9/11 came off even much better than he planned it. Well, you got a lot of problems there. First of all, bin Laden was left-handed. This guy writes with his right hand. Secondly, you might say, well, he'd had a stroke, so his left hand was immobile. Well, he lifts his left hand above his head. Right. Thirdly, his nose has a different shape. Fourthly, his fingers his hands are fatter and his fingers are shorter than the real bin Laden, who had really long fingers. He looked like a pianist or a violin player and all that. Yeah. So we know that there are some fake bin Laden tapes, and so then the question is, are they all fake? And to me, it looks like they are. Now, your second question was, who benefits? And as I've got another...
And we have just a minute left, David.
Okay. I have another chapter showing that many of the tapes appeared at very, very convenient times. And so the other most obvious fake tape was the so-called October surprise video that helped Bush win the election. Right. Your third question, why is the Obama administration continuing this? I don't know what President Obama himself knows and thinks, but it's clear that the military wants to keep the war, the AfPak war, going. Yeah. And so the rationalization is, well, bin Laden's over there and his people over there, and they're in Pakistan, so that's why now it's an AfPak war.
Yeah, there you go. Well said. David Ray Griffin, his new book, Osama bin Laden, Dead or Alive. Is there a website, by the way, for this, David? Or just
a fellow does a website for me called davidraygriffin.com, or you can get all these books on Amazon.
Sure, yeah, or any good available from all the usual suspects. David Ray Griffin, great work as always, sir. Thank you very much